What's going on, everybody? This is Chad Minton, one of your hosts of Catfish on Ice podcast. We've got some special video content coming to you right now for the Catfish on Ice YouTube channel because some big news happened yesterday. First of all, we hope everyone's having a really great 4th of July today. We hope everyone is enjoying some good cooking, is going to watch the fireworks tonight, but the Nashville Predators had some fireworks of their own for this offseason yesterday as they traded for Ryan McDonagh from the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we've got to bring some reaction to you right now before we get to episode 136, which will be tomorrow, so you will want to check that out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get it started here because this is some big news here in this offseason for the Nashville Predators with a major ripple effect. First of all, go hit the subscribe button below on our YouTube channel. We would really appreciate that, and also be sure to comment as well. Let us know what you think about this Ryan McDonagh trade. Let us know how you think that's going to impact the rest of the offseason. Let me tell you what I think about it. First of all, this is totally a situation where David Poile is showing everyone that he's in win-now mode. Let's forget about all this rebuild talk, even though he said in his press conference earlier this offseason that every team is constantly rebuilding, which I kind of understand that. But he is not feeling that way right now. Clearly, he's in win-now mode. This is why this trade kind of is a gamble to me. It's the contract, and a lot of people have brought this up. Ryan McDonagh still has 4 years left on his contract, $6.75 million annual cap hit. Now, the Preds have plenty of cap space this offseason, so it's not that big of a deal. But here's the thing. He's an aging defenseman. This is a short-term upgrade and benefit. It does make the Predators a better team next year instantly. But on the back end of that contract, it scares me a little bit. It gets a little dicey there. I don't think he's going to be a $6.75 million a player year in year 3 or 4 of this contract. So that has me a little bit worried. But in the short term, it does show that the Predators are very much in win-now mode, and they want to get better. They want to build off what they did last season. They outperformed a lot of people's expectations, including my own. But even though they did get swept by the eventual Stanley Cup champions, the Colorado Avalanche, no harm, no foul there. I mean, it's the Avalanche. They ripped through everybody this postseason. So, not too worried about that. Now let's see if they can build off of it. Ryan McDonagh is the first box to check in this offseason as far as making this team better. There's 2 more boxes the Preds have to check this offseason before I think they're going to be improved enough to maybe win a first-round series. This team has not won a first-round playoff series since 2018 when they beat that Avalanche in the first round, a very young Avalanche team at the time, when they beat them in 6 games. That's the last time this team has made it out of the first round. Ever since then, it's been first-round playoff debacle after first-round playoff debacle. Just not getting it done in the postseason. So David Poile has shown us, I want to fix that this offseason. I'm sick of losing in the first round. I don't want to rebuild. So that's what we're getting from this. But there's 2 more boxes that the Preds have to check off this offseason before I take them seriously. They did the Ryan McDonagh trade. Okay, that's great. You're stabilizing the defense. You've got your top 4 defensive core. It's the elephant in the room. You've got to get this Philip Forsberg deal done. All your NHL insiders, your Elliot Friedmans, your Darren Dragers, your Pierre LeBruns, all of them are saying pretty much it's within $1 million, but they're just not there. And it's so frustrating to keep watching this all offseason. And since the trade deadline, it's just like an everyday nightmare for Preds fans to watch this continue to linger. Just doesn't make any sense. But you're thinking that Forsberg's somewhere in the mid-8s right now, and that for some reason David Poile cannot pull the trigger on this. So that has to get done first of all. That's the second box you got to check. The next one is the Preds got to use the rest of their cap space to get a top 6 forward, whether it's via a trade or whether it's on the free agency market. They've got to get themselves a top 6 forward, and that leads me back to the Ryan McDonagh impact here. What does this mean for Dante Fabro? Because your top 4 defensive core now looks like Roman Josi, Ryan McDonagh, Matthias Ekholm, and Alexander Carrier. That's your perceived top 4 defensive core now. Are you going to stick Dante Fabro on the third pairing next season? Seems a little unlikely. It could happen if they don't end up trading him, but seems a little odd. Suddenly, Fabro is a trade piece this offseason, and a good one. There's a lot of teams who would be interested in a Dante Fabro. He's not been a scrub by any means, and he's still a very young player that has a lot of really good NHL tools. So, on the right team, he could really up his game even more. So, he is a trade piece for the Preds to go out and get themselves a top 6 scoring forward to really make this team better. So that's where you're at right now. Those are the next 2 boxes this team has to check. If they get those 2 boxes checked on top of what they just did by trading for Ryan McDonagh, then suddenly I have a decent amount of confidence that maybe the Predators can, I don't know, win a first-round playoff series for a change. It would be so... I don't even need them to win a Stanley Cup. Just win a first-round playoff series again. I want to know what that feels like again. I think they can do it. But they got to check off those next 2 boxes I just mentioned. I think it's really cool that McDonagh waived his no-move clause. That was really surprising because, first of all, Tampa really probably didn't want to make this trade, but that's how cap casualties work. It was totally a salary cap dump, and I'm sure McDonagh didn't want to leave Tampa, and I don't blame him, but he seems like, at least he's saying all the right things, that he feels like, yeah, Nashville's got a really good team that I'm excited to join. He gets to play with Roman Josi possibly on the same line. We're going to have to see how those defensive pairings end up working out now. But, yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Ryan McDonagh. He's a leader on the ice. He's a great locker room presence. And I'm really excited about that. So I like Ryan McDonagh, the player, and I like what he's going to bring to the team. And you have stability now for the defense, which is awesome. It's great. You got Jeremy Lauzon mixed in there, and you've got to figure out what happens with Dante Fabro, obviously. You've still got Mark Borowiecki as a possibility. You've still got some prospects that could work their way into the mix next year. There's still a lot going on. Matt Benning is a free agent. We got to figure out if he sticks around or not. Probably not, but we have to wait and see. So there's a lot of moving parts here. But this is a very interesting development because David Poile is showing us that he is definitely not going to go down without swinging. He doesn't have any confidence from the fan base, and I totally get that, but he's not going down swinging. He's ready to make waves this offseason. We might be in store for the most hectic offseason this team has had in quite some time. So that is my reaction there to the Ryan McDonagh trade. Chad Minton, your host of Catfish on Ice podcast. We will break this down even more in Tuesday night's episode of Catfish on Ice when I am joined by Kyle Perkins and Rich Howe, my co-host. And we will talk about it more. It's going to be our draft special because the NHL draft is coming up this Thursday. And then you've got NHL free agency opening up on July 13th. So much is going to happen in the next 2 weeks that's going to really change this Predators team going into next season. So we are all here for it. We are here for you on Catfish on Ice podcast, which is presented by DraftKings, promo code THPN. When you sign up, we're part of the Hockey Podcast Network. Again, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook at Catfish Ice to follow us there. And also hit the subscribe button and comment on this video. Let me know what you think about the Ryan McDonagh trade and how it impacts the offseason. And we will be sure to share that in tomorrow night's episode 136. Be sure to be there. Until then, everyone have a great 4th of July, and I appreciate you joining me. And we will see you tomorrow night for episode 136 of Catfish on Ice podcast.